Yo, what's up guys? Thanks for tuning into the video today. I know it's a little bit of a different video, but we seriously have to talk about the state of MLB The Show 26 right now. Because right now, scrolling on Twitter, it's genuinely embarrassing for San Diego studios to ever release a product like this right now. I want to keep this video a little serious because it doesn't make any sense to try to crack jokes or anything like that, because the state of the game is actually extremely sad. And the point of this video is to actually just amplify what the community is trying to say, because there are so many issues that are going on with the game that's either not being talked about or just not being listened to. They do listen to their community a lot, but right now the game is at such a bad spot right now that they seriously have to get their game up, because this is just straight up like miserable and unacceptable. Like, this is straight up unacceptable. Like, there's no reason why a product like this should be released in 2026. I did ask my followers on Twitter to please let me know what specific issues you're having with the game, and I've received a lot of responses. It's just difficult to make content knowing that the game is bad and people aren't enjoying it. So I really need someone at SDS to step up or say something or try to get something going, because this is just straight up ridiculous. I have broken up the videos of these complaints into 3 different sections. So first, I'm going to start off with hardware, and the first thing I want to talk about is the stock controllers for Xbox. I do not know why this isn't being talked about enough, but the stock controllers for Xbox is absolutely terrible. Like, they don't actually work in the game, and this has been a thing since it came out. So I have no idea why this isn't being talked about enough, but there are many people who are getting the game for the first time, or they've been playing this game for a long time and they've been playing on a stock controller, and guess what? They can't even play a smooth game because there's so much lag and so many incompatibility issues with the controller. The best way to describe it, I don't have a clip right now, but the best way to describe it is that it just lags all over the place. If you are using the stock controller, I know you are dealing with a lot of delays, a lot of lag, you can't pinpoint correctly, you can't hit smoothly, and it's just a frustrating experience because no one really speaks up about this, because it's not a big issue that other people go. People talk about the game store, they talk about the power array, they talk about the thrustmaster. It doesn't matter, because a lot of these people are playing this game brand new and they're not able to use the stock controller for whatever reason, and it's gotten to the point where it's actually making people who don't know about this issue play the game thinking that that's how the game should be, when it's really not. Next one, which is also a huge one, I don't really know many people who talk about it, but like, certain internet providers will not work with this game, and that, to me, that makes no sense. To me, this has been an issue for some of my friends and some people in the community. I've seen people talk about it before, but it's just never vocal enough to actually go ahead and talk about. So some people with T-Mobile, Xfinity, and Optimum are having issues where if they try to match up at any point in the game, not just right now in the current state, last year, the year before, if they try to match up to an opponent and they find an opponent, the game will completely just shutter and just tell you that the challenge failed, and they will not be able to get in the game. It's really not fair to those who spend their money on the game to literally just see a challenge fail all the time. And one of the last things I want to talk about is graphics. So for me personally, I don't really care about graphics. Like, me personally, I do not care because it doesn't affect me. I play the game at the lowest resolution. I just play competitively. But it's 2026 and people are looking at other games and saying, oh wow, why can't this be in MLB The Show? Why is it so hard for MLB The Show to have these graphics? There's no reason for this game not to have good graphics. It doesn't make sense. I'll agree with that 100%. The graphics aren't the best compared to other games, but I also will add that I don't personally think that it's all on San Diego studios. I know it's run by Sony, but obviously with baseball being the least popular sport out of the major sports, I don't ever see them getting a big budget like EA would. The last couple of years we had issues with players with dreads. Like, how is that? That doesn't make any sense. I can't believe it's 2026 and certain hairstyles are affecting frame rate to the point where it's almost unplayable, man. And I'm speaking on the experience of a $500 console. So I don't even know what it's like on the Series S, but the Series X on Xbox, that dreads in the game causes this many issues. So now I'm gonna move on to the UI, which is the new UI that is completely different and we've never seen it before, and it's had so many issues and so many problems that I really don't see why it's there, or why are we complicating things that never needed to be complicated. Like, seriously, it should not be this difficult to get into the game. Like, I don't know why it stutters like that, and I don't know why it takes so long to get to your progress and build. It makes no sense to me. Like, I know you can go in the bottom left for the squad option, but again, if this was a lot smoother, we would have a lot better of a time. I'm gonna point out more reasons why this UI is just very complicated as well. For example, this new part of the menu, I don't understand it whatsoever. Like, I do understand it, but it makes no sense to me why they ever complicated something like this. Like, we have to go up to see the stats that we could have seen on the same page with the attributes. We go down one for the marketplace, which I promise you no one needs there. And then we have the parallel upgrades. I understand why we need this here, but this on top of the server latency issues is just a complete clutter and a mess, and it's just way more inconvenient than it is to just have it the way it was before. And we have our own little thing with quirks where it just goes through all the quirks. I understand that, but again, this is a complete waste of a page. We're adding another page for what? What is this needed for? What? This can be said in so many different ways, and instead you're taking up one entire page of a menu that people need to navigate through and just completely clutter with absolute nonsense. And same thing here. Like, why do we need this? We need this, sure. Put it somewhere else. Put it away from everything else. And you know why? Because what the hell are the stats doing on the 5th page of the menu? I don't know who this went through, but this menu change has been absolutely disgustingly bad. The potential for this one, like I said before, the potential for this is so good, but they are complicating things for no reason whatsoever. And I don't understand why they would put this on the 5th page where there are millions of players who want to quickly see stats and see attributes for programs or for different things, because those programs won't tell you exactly what you need until you go into that program, and you have to go all the way to the progress bar to get to the program to see where you're standing, or you have to go into your player, go down 5 tabs just to see your exact stats, and you have to almost kind of guess what you need for the program. It's just so inconvenient and just so awful. I cannot believe that they greenlit this. And this, okay, listen, I don't mind this being in here. Again, same thing, I don't mind it being here. Is it useless for me? Absolutely. Like, this can be in the manual or something. This does not need to be cluttering this entire space. At least it's on the last page where people really rarely go. But you can't say that same thing about this and that. Like, I won't ever understand why they thought putting the stats below anything below this was a good idea, because it was never a good idea. And going back to the attribute screen, I don't mind the change. Like, this is honestly a pretty clean look to me. I like the base and the current. Like, this is a good change, but everything else within this page is absolutely disgusting. Where it says Kyle Schwarber right there, add his height, add his weight, add his age, add his birthplace. You can do that, man. That's a ridiculous thing not to put on there. Like, you're wasting an entire tab where you can add stats or something because you need to go up to look at his stats and where he's from. Like, what the fuck is that? Also, I'm gonna drop screenshots right now of what the MLB The Show UI used to look like. I don't really think it's that big of an issue. I really don't like how they made the game go from an entire squad with your bench and the lineup screen being seen on the same thing to just going down and going down and going down. It's very useless to have some of these things in the game. Like, let's just see the bullpen and the rotation in the same page. Like, what's wrong with that? What was wrong with that with the MLB The Show 21? That was great. You can see your entire rotation, entire bullpen in the same page. There was nothing wrong with that, but they changed it for some reason. I just don't understand why they changed some of the things they do. They try to change things for the better, but it just ends up being way worse. Again, that one's a personal one for me, because I know some people who do like this screen, but I personally cannot stand how they changed it. I miss how you could see everything, every hitter in the hitting screen and every pitcher in the pitching screen. And it was that simple. You don't have to go down and up. Okay, I gotta change him. Oh wait, gotta go back to my bench. Why does the bench have its own thing? It shouldn't. It was better in 21 where you can just go down a little bit and then you can select it from there. No problem there, but they changed it and I don't understand why. And another thing I want to talk about with this UI is this new attribute system. Listen, I don't know why they go away from simple. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so for each player, you have to look at their attributes and you have to go to the right to see one page and then another one for another page, another one to see break, another one to see miscellaneous. How about we keep the attribute wheel the way it was, and we can actually go into this screen to see any extra information. We don't need to see miscellaneous for some of these players. We don't need to see the break on some of these players. I'm sure it's very nice to, and I'm sure it's a very good thing, but if we truly cared about some of these stats more than we did with like hits per 9 or clutch or stamina or anything like that, we would go into this system and we would use it the way it's meant to be laid out, because you don't need everything on this screen to be right here, because again, people like to work quick. They want to see things quickly. They want to see hits per 9 quickly. They want to see something else quickly. Maybe they do want to see break, but you don't need its own page, and you don't need to remove an attribute wheel, which everyone was a fan of and never had an issue with until it was broken. Which again, this new one can be broken too, because I've seen Kyle Tucker with pitching stats that go in the thousands. So that never made sense to me, and I don't know why our attributes are so buggy and honestly just disgusting. I cannot believe that they let this go on year by year and listen to us talk about this stuff, but I just don't understand why they let stuff keep going. I don't. And this is another gripe for me that I don't like, but I don't understand what SCS was thinking when they added this collect card. Okay, yes, collect card. Are you serious? I have to hold the button for 4 or 5 seconds just to collect a player? Again, they are making things so much more complicated than it needs to be. Sure, they have options, but sometimes these options don't even work properly. The buy needed items sometimes will duplicate your players and make you buy in another set of the same players that you just bought, or it straight up won't work. I just don't understand how this isn't fixed yet. This has been a really bad one for me because I get bored of collecting players like this because it's just boring and it's just not the way it was never broken. They never needed to fix it. Maybe they could have added an option, but dude, this is the worst way they could have gone at collecting cards. Absolutely terrible. Yes, it looks nice, it looks good, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let it work, and then maybe you can try adding things first. Don't completely rework things after having things set for years and just completely change everything just for it not to work properly. Like, that makes no sense. On to the next thing. I don't understand why we don't have settings at MLB The Show Diamond Dynasty. I don't. There's no reason why it shouldn't be somewhere on here. It's been years and years and years, and we have never seen anything. And not to mention, in-game settings don't save. So if you need something to save, you need to exit your game, exit Diamond Dynasty, and go up to the settings. How that's so inconvenient and just so useless. I cannot believe we're in 2026 and we can't get an online system that works for settings. Like, that makes zero sense to me whatsoever. And I'm sorry, but we don't need this screen. If anything, let this be some sort of pop-up that you can just X out of every time you open the game or something. It doesn't need to be its page, because I don't need to know every single time I log into Diamond Dynasty, especially when there's no content coming out. I don't need to see the same shit every time I open this game. I don't. I really don't. And it might not be the biggest thing in the world because you can just move on. But at the same time, it's another tab you need to go. It's another thing the server can't handle. It's just another thing that we need to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. So many clunky things in this entire UI system. Has the potential to be so good, but it's just not good, and it's just atrocious and annoying to play right now. And it's going to be really difficult to get into this bugs part of it because it is unbelievable the amount I have written down for the bugs. So many people are going through so many different things, on top of the issues with the servers, on top of the issues with the UI, on top of the service, on top of the issues with the internet providers, the stock controllers. There's way too much going on right now, and this is all becoming just such a catastrophic mess for MLB The Show and San Diego studios. Okay, now going on to hitting. I'm gonna post some clips while I'm talking about some certain things because people have sent in a lot of videos regarding the hitting engine, the pitching engine, and other things. So I want to talk about first hitting. Hitting in MLB The Show has been so inconsistent throughout the years. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's miserable. We haven't really seen the really good this year at all. I will say the exit velos have increased a lot, and maybe things will change when better players are added to the game. One of the biggest concerns I personally had when I'm hitting or pitching is the blue pits. The blue pits have been completely out of control. It keeps everyone in the game. It keeps everything as a coin flip. And as a result of that, there is no skill gap. I don't understand what they changed within the hitting that caused all these blue pits to just happen. But overall, the bloops in the outfield has just been ridiculous. I just don't understand what happened there. I don't understand how it's been more of a thing, but it's something that can't happen at this point. And I understand that it's something that can't be really changed on the dot, but this has to be on their mind like right now, because if it's not on their mind, then they won't ever change it. And I'm sorry to say that even though they do listen to us a lot, there are some things that have been an issue for so long and people have been so vocal about, and they have not listened, or they can't listen, or they don't know how to fix something, which I don't understand. And I really need to at least hear some feedback or something from SDS regarding why these issues are occurring, why these issues can't be fixed, because they are vocal about some things, but some of these things they're not vocal at all. And it's just very frustrating as someone who makes content for the game and plays the game to see this game go on such shambles right now. And another thing, and PCI shrinkage, they said that this was out of the game. They told us, they were so excited about it. They were like, hey, listen, we heard you guys and we removed it from the game. Everyone cheered, everyone had a great time, everyone was so happy about that. But guess what? They never removed it. Like, I cannot comprehend how that's possible. I just don't understand how that's possible. Like, honestly, I'd rather have them just not say anything about PCI shrinkage and just let it go, because I cannot believe that they say something like that and then it just still implements it in the game. Which leads me up to another point, and I don't understand why we aren't allowed to hit a ball hard outside of the strike zone. I understand they're trying to nerf foul balls. I know they're trying to nerf certain things. I understand if you want to make the PCI smaller, especially when you're hitting the ball outside the zone. But there's no reason why, if you are trying to make hard contact outside the zone, it is almost impossible. Yes, sometimes you will be rewarded, sometimes you will have a hard hit, but for the most part, hitting a ball outside the zone is basically a free out for the other team. Especially when you get on those higher difficulties, your chances of getting a hit on an outside pitch is like reduced to nubbin. And another issue I've seen a lot of people in my comments talk about was players will move away from a pitch that is quote unquote going to hit them, but it's just barely missing the zone. I've seen it happen to me. I don't understand why this happens. I don't understand what in the game. Ochev brought up a good point when he was talking about the game, saying that if anything, it has to do with the discipline being out of the game. It's something that can happen. Like, I don't understand what the program is. I can't understand what program is really like, but it shouldn't happen is my point. It shouldn't happen. It's a video game. It's a competitive video game, especially when you're playing ranked in higher stages. You want that game to play very flawlessly, and you want that game to play fair, man. Like everyone does. Like, it should never be a coin flip on what's happening in the game. It should never be a coin flip. Last year and years before, like, this is a 1 year thing, and MLB The Show 26 thing. When you hit a double, a sure double in other games, it is sometimes, I mean, I want to say a fair amount of times, it's going to be out. And I don't understand why a runner can't get to second on a gapper. Like, it makes no sense to me. I don't know what they changed with that. I don't know why, like, Masataka Yoshida takes 5 seconds to get out of the box and start running to his full speed. I don't understand that, and I don't know why that's in the game, and that needs to be addressed as soon as possible, because that should not happen. Now I want to move on to pitching. I don't know what happened to pitching this year. Since Pinpoint, pitching has gotten a little better, has been a great addition to the game. I know some people use other things and have their own preferences, but since Pinpoint, pitching has gotten a little better. But I don't understand why the strike zone is the way it is. I don't understand why the par is the way it is. So for the strike zone, I understand if they want to create a system where even if the ball is touching, it's still a ball. I understand, like, I guess they want to keep things consistent. I'm not too sure on what they can do to help that, but be more upfront about why they're doing what they're doing with the strike zone, because I know we're all unhappy, but they're not stupid. They have a reason for these things. Maybe if they heard the reason, we'd feel a little better. Maybe we could tell them why it doesn't make any sense. But as of right now, I cannot even tell you what the solution would be for something like that. But it is something that is very much so annoying, and it is very frustrating, especially when you have perfect umpire, quote unquote perfect umpire on, and these pitches are being called balls when they're strikes and vice versa. And speaking about the pars, I don't understand the pars part of it. I've seen so many clips on Twitter where people are pitching, and I don't understand why this happens to a lot of people, but when you're trying to pitch on the edge of the zone, it's like almost guaranteed that sometimes that it will just make sure that it's not in the strike zone or not called a strike. It will barely miss the strike zone every single time, and I know damn well it frustrates me so much to the point where I hate pitching. I don't like pitching because I can't get that spot that I want, and I don't need it all the time, but the fact that it automatically becomes a ball as soon as I throw it, and I almost like I have no more input than just to throw it. If they had more of an explanation on that, that would be helpful as well to us and to what I've seen on Twitter. They're not happy with pitching on top of the blue pits. It's just such a frustrating experience to be a pitcher right now. And I gotta talk about the servers again, or lag, or in general, but it's very frustrating to me how when you match up with someone who has really bad internet, or you yourself has bad internet, the game lag will get so bad to the point where it's either you or your opponent, you're trying to throw a perfect pitch, and for some reason the pitch is perfect but it ends up in a completely different location. That is unacceptable. That makes the game completely literally unplayable. Like, that's an unplayable product at that point. What's the point of putting in the best input if you're just the pitch is going to disappear somewhere else? That just makes no sense to me, and it will never make sense to me. Overall, the pitching has gotten so much worse this year because the hitting didn't really get better, but it has more bloops happening now, and not to mention clear strikes are being called balls, and the par is so unhelpful. Pitching has become so unenjoyable. And I remember MLB The Show 21 days, things were a lot different. I feel like pitching was a little dominant. Whatever this is right now is just plain unacceptable. Now moving on to the game disconnecting. We have to have some kind of workaround with that. I understand it's very difficult when people disconnect because it can be intentionally and it can be unintentionally. But the amount of disconnects that are currently happening in the game and receiving losses is astronomically crazy. I cannot believe we're at a point where there are so many disconnects happening and people are requesting record resets because of what's going on. Like, I can't believe the disconnects have gotten to the point where people are requesting to have their entire record wiped out. Now next I want to talk about the online modes. Oh my goodness. There are so many things I could say about these modes, but I want to keep this as short and as sweet as possible because I feel I can go on years about this. Mainly, I want to start with ranked because ranked is the most popular game mode in Diamond Dynasty. I cannot believe that you are rewarded less and less the more you get up in the rankings. I cannot believe that the current structure of ranked seasons has kind of stayed the same. There's really been no change at all with this game and ranked seasons. It becomes stale at some point. And when people play for records or people play for rewards, it doesn't make sense. It's on top of all the issues that are already occurring in the game. Ranked seasons is slowly becoming played less because rewards aren't as rewarding and top players aren't rewarded with anything but a badge. Okay, and then I want to move on to BR. Okay, the change from 12 wins to 10 wins, awesome, great. Why did we change the structure? Why did we change the BR program? The multiplayer program is great. It's a great addition. We didn't have to have the same program for each mode. That never made sense to me. Otherwise, why on earth did they change the rewards for a 10-0? I will never understand why they made BR such an annoying game mode to play. On top of all the hitting and pitching issues and astronomical amount of issues that are currently happening in the game, you're basically torturing yourself for 3 hours for what, 50k stubs and a 87 overall card? That makes no sense. There's people who have gone flawless 15 times and don't have collections done. Like, that's insane. Like, you're not rewarding people who are extremely good at the game for being extremely good at the game. You're just giving them pocket change for hours of their life. Again, and it's gotten to the point where other offline modes are more convenient and better to grind than an online competitive game mode. I just need them to think about this better, because they're slowly driving away things from all the online modes and just making every reward every year just less enticing and worth it to grind for. Okay, now onto events. I don't understand why they killed the mode this much. I don't understand why they took away the program rewards for events. Peak MLB The Show, everyone would be grinding events when there was something good as the reward. In different MLBs, the best cards in the game would be at 50 wins or something. I know the wins could be a lot, but at least it was worth grinding for. What is there to grind for in events other than a small program? People want good cards. People want this. Let people grind events for really good cards like we used to, because whatever this is absolutely just boring. No one really wants to play that for a program unless they desperately have to just finish the program. They just won't, and there's no reason to, and I don't ever see a reason why they should. Co-op has not changed a single thing since its release, and I don't understand what it is. I don't think the devs are stupid in the sense of what is going on with that mode, but there is something going on in that mode and they're not being vocal about anything, and I just don't understand why. They are continuing to release a product that isn't good for us and isn't good for the game, and it is just negative PR after negative PR. People can't play a game, people freeze. People are going through so much hell just to play a game with their friends. There aren't private custom lobbies for co-op. There aren't other things for co-op. There are still bugs and freezes. There is so much wrong with co-op. People are not playing that mode. And that is a mode that it has so much potential. It has so much potential upon belief. If you had a better system going for co-op, this game would be in a way better spot, because people love playing with their friends. They love playing other teams with their own friends. People love this shit, but they can't even play the game, so what's the point of doing it? Co-op has been a complete failure, and they better fix co-op, or else this game is just going to continue to die at the rate it is. And I do want to talk about mini seasons as well. I've seen a lot of people talk about mini seasons in the way that sometimes the losses are going to be generated after a game. Games will freeze in offline modes, like the menus will freeze. You will be forced to restart. You will just be handed L's after L's, especially in the WBC program, where you have one loss in the playoffs before you get eliminated. So if you get that loss from a disconnect, you're completely out. And speaking of freezing is just crazy to be in the game in general. It still happens everywhere, mainly in co-op, but it's still a big issue, and I just don't understand how they're ever going to release a fix for something like this. But also with freezes, it happens in the game UI as well, and this is not just a this year thing with this UI. It's super crazy to me when people get into their squads and it just freezes and it just completely shuts off the game. I don't understand why that's still here. I don't understand why that's still in the game. I don't know why people aren't talking about it as much, but now people are talking about it. People are outraged with this stuff because they have to close their app each and every time something like this happens, and it's just unbelievable. So that's gonna wrap it up for the input that I have myself along with other people on Twitter. It's been one rough start to the game. It's probably been the worst start to an MLB The Show and maybe ever. Like, this has just been so bad with the game, and how much this game has grown since launch. This might easily be the worst release in MLB The Show history. And they gotta take more accountability. They gotta speak out more, because the fact that they're speaking out about certain issues and not about others is just ridiculous. It's crazy. It's ridiculous, and it's upsetting to the consumer. People want answers. People want this. People want that. I know it's kind of hard when everyone's yelling at you, but you gotta say something, because this isn't a playable product. People need to be rewarded for their time lost. People need to be rewarded for buying the game and not being able to play, buying the pre-order bonus just to be unable to play for most of it. I just think this game is in a terrible spot, and we need answers. And hopefully with this video we can share it more to MLB The Show or San Diego Studios or Sony, or just someone who can, to at least what me and my community at least have been been saying about the game. But other than that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If there's anything else, just let me know in the comments below, or any other sort of issues you might be having. I know there's a lot of things that I definitely missed, but for the most part, these are the main issues for me, and I feel like a lot of people are going through the same issues. So hopefully we get something resolved, and hopefully they at least say something in regards to trying to fix it, because this is just ridiculous. And I think at this point I'm losing my voice a little bit because I got pretty passionate in that little UI section of it. But again, I really do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if anything, leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on my other platforms if you guys want updates on anything. I'd really appreciate it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.